And then stop with the hand center, bring the hands up, out and in, out and in. Think about having a marble or a golf ball here and you don't want to roll it to the side. Keep the forearms from moving. And this is where it gets tricky. Your golf ball's there. You're not going to move the forearms. Stop with the fingers in center and just move the hands. Forearms are in cement. No dropping that ball. Keep the ball. Change direction with the circles. Forearms in cement. Pull in those bellies. Push into those feet. And then don't worry about the wall. Circles the other way. Let the ball do what it wants. Let the forearms move. Little clicky clacky, no harm with that. Reach your fingers a little further away from you. It's just you saving a lot of money on chiropractics. Too close together, Kathy. Change direction with the circles. And stopping with the circles, let the hands come down, palms up, shoulders back, close your eyes, big, beautiful breaths. Breathe into those shoulders. Listen to those ankles and those knees. If you need to come out, come into your tabletop, open up your legs, and then come back into it. Add a little bit more height by putting a stem between your ankles that you can sit on. If you need more height, one bolster goes this way, and then the other bolster goes this way. If you need a second bolster and you don't have one handy, let me know. Got plenty of them. All right, this is where the fun begins. Let's bring our arms up, palms facing in. Let's bend the elbows so the hands and the elbows are facing one another. So if we've got tighter shoulders, it may just look like an X, okay? If we're open enough, we can stack the right elbow on top of the left elbow. Maybe we can bring the backs of the hands to touch, or maybe we can hook a thumb. Maybe we can bring the palms of the hands to touch. If the palms don't touch, just think about having a ball between the backs of the hands that you're squeezing. Karate chop the forearms forward and relax the shoulders. And we're going to inhale to slide the forearms up. We're going to exhale to slide the forearms down. Even if you're here, try and get the wrists so they're as far away from you as the elbows. Exhale down, inhale up. Exhale down, and inhale up. And just working with your own breath. Everybody's knees are good. If you need help, just let me know. Do not ever sit through knee pain. That would be the most silly thing you ever did in yoga. No pain in yoga. The opposite. Pain equals no gain. Go up and down 2 more times, and then stop with your elbows directly in line with your shoulders. Elbows directly in line with your shoulders. Squeeze the joints towards one another. Close your eyes. Karate chop those forearms forward, but just to the right number. Don't go to that 10 out of 10 where it's jammy in the neck. The neck and the traps should be relaxed. You make them work so hard. Remember, this is always a great option. Really breathe into that space between your shoulder blades. Really great pose for getting rid or preventing headaches. 2 more breaths here. And then unwind the arms, let the palms face up, shoulders back, ears directly over those shoulders. Close your eyes and breathe. If you need to change your seated position, now's a perfect time to do it. Coming at you, Haley. Thank you. Anybody else need a second bolster? It's a good ankle stretch, hey? Anybody else while I'm here? Just got one more exercise. A block works too, right? You could always put a block between your ankles like that. Only I find you get less of an ankle stretch that way. Although on the lowest height, it's pretty good.
Knees still together when there's one in between?
Yeah. All right. Bring those arms up, elbows bent, 90-degree angles. Take either the left forearm in front of the right or the left elbow on top of the right. Thinking of a ball between the backs of the hands, or maybe touching the backs of the hands, maybe the palms of the hands can touch. Try and get the wrists so they're stacking right over the elbows, and karate chop those forearms forward to a comfortable number, okay? Inhale to slide it up, exhale to slide it down. Do your best to keep the wrists and elbows stacked. So great upper back, neck and shoulder stretch, release. Always listening to your body. If you need to take a break at any point, feel free. Let's go up and down 3 more times. Once those 3 times are done, stop with the elbows in line with the shoulders, squeeze the joints to center. Remember, you can always do less. This is a great option. Close your eyes and breathe. Big, beautiful breaths into the upper chest and shoulders. Three more breaths. And then when those 3 breaths are complete, you're going to unwind those arms. I like to take my arms out to the side, palms facing up, and just open them up. And then just let those arms come onto the flat, palms facing up, shoulders back, ears over shoulders. Close your eyes and breathe. Big breaths into those shoulders. Then when you're ready, you're going to come through tabletop position, moving your props to the side. Index fingers pointing out to the corner, thumbs pointing to the center of the mat, opening up the backs of the knees. Making sure the outer wrist is in line with the outer shoulder. When you feel like you've released your knees and your ankles enough to come into one last down dog, take your butt back. Find a nice straight line from your shoulders to your hips and from your shoulders to your wrists. And remember, it's more important to keep the shoulders straight than it is to straighten out your knees. So take at least 4 breaths with bent knees. I want to see bent knees and 4 breaths in bent knees to straighten out the shoulders. Once you feel like you've straightened out your shoulders as much as you can, then you can start to straighten out your legs as much as you can without the shoulders coming forward. So keeping that beautiful slope from your sacrum down to your wrists. Let the head be totally heavy. 4 breaths in bent knees. If you'd rather do a child's pose, remember that's always an option. Think about your shoulders moving towards your ankles or your shins. Think about your floating ribs coming to one another and lifting up back into the body. Lowest part of belly towards lowest part of back, and then think about sliding that abdomen up underneath the rib cage. Pull the elbows away from one another without bending the elbows. See if you've got 10 more breaths here before you make your way once again into another child's pose. And Hazel, let's try this guy snuggled in behind your knees. Look at this, just to see if we can get that to release. See if that feels better when you come into your child's pose. Does that help? Because I got a lot of blankets if you want to go thicker.
Yeah, I think
That's good.
Yeah.
And if we just use that every single time, then we'll, you'll move past it.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like things are happening, it's changing.
Change is good. Then any child's pose you fancy. If you want a little extra support in your child's pose, let me know, but the rules are you don't feel your knees. If you feel your knees, let me know and I'll help you not feel your knees. Let's go back to exhaling out what we don't need, inhaling in what we do need. So exhale to let go of whatever it is that no longer serves you, and a nice big inhale to draw in the opposite of that. Sticking with the exact same practice you did earlier. Do 5 more breaths, just like that, staying very present with your intention. When those 5 breaths are complete, you're going to bring your hands underneath your shoulders and your knees in inhalation to push yourself up. You can either tuck your toes under and roll over onto your seat. I want you to sit on your bolster, or you can bring your feet out to the side. So we're going to sit on our bolster, and everybody should have a block, so have your block handy. And I want your block underneath your right thigh. And then we're going to bend the left knee. So we're sitting on our bolster, and our skinny height block is underneath our right thigh. And then we're going to pull that left foot back as close to the bolster as we can. I want your big toe edge of the foot to be nice and close to that right thigh. We're going to interlace our fingers over that right shin. We're going to flex that right foot. Nice big inhale to lift the chest, relax the shoulders. Really think of a block between your thighs that you're squeezing. Left hand's going to come behind you, be up on the fingertips, find the shoulders level as we start to twist. Press the left foot down into the floor and work the left thigh forward as you continue to twist. First the shoulders, then the ribs, then the belly. Some of us will be able to take that right elbow outside the knee. Arm pushing into leg, leg pushing into arms. Work the shoulders, the ribs, the bellies a little bit deeper. And then when you've twisted to your max, you can turn your gaze over that back shoulder. It's very important that you're pushing into that left foot so that the pelvis doesn't shift. Okay, we don't want to twist at the pelvis. We want to twist at the mid-upper back. Belly is pulling in and up. Shoulders are relaxing and armpits are lifting up. I like to think about both shoulder heads going back towards the wall behind me and both shoulder blades pushing forward towards the wall in front of me. That helps me to keep a nice straight spine as I twist. Let's take 3 more breaths here. Then when those 3 breaths are complete, unwind back to center, interlace your fingers over that left shin, big inhale. Push the sole of the left foot into the floor, bring your right arm onto the floor outside the right leg, and bring your left arm to the inside of that left leg. Nice big inhale to lift and lengthen. Really think about the hip bones rooting and think about lengthening the torso and the armpits away from the hip bones as we start to walk that left hand forward. Maybe we can grab a shin, an ankle, or a foot. Another big inhale to lengthen, push into the sole of that left foot as you start to come forward even more. So the trick here is straight back. I'm going to show you what the trick is not. This is very naughty. The minute we let our back curl and our head hang, we lose 90% of the stretch and we don't accomplish much for our neck and our shoulders and our upper back. So it's very important to keep a nice straight spine as we come forward. Push into the sole of that left foot. Now if you've got the foot and you still have a lot of room here like I do with a bent elbow, then you can bring that left arm around. You can flip the palm up. You can bend the elbow, bringing the back of the hand around, and then you can bring the opposite arm around. Ideally you do that without moving the shoulders, but most of us have to do this to grab. Okay? So if you did this, then you want to pull the left hip, left shoulder back, draw the right shoulder forward and down, and then when you have level shoulders, it's almost like you pull the elbows apart, lift the shoulder heads away from the floor to lengthen, and then you can come down with that straight spine. First the belly touches, then the ribs touch, and then eventually the chin touches, but as you can see, the neck is always straight. No turtlenecks. And if you're not there, you're already getting a good stretch, I can tell. If you're not getting a stretch and need help getting it, I can help you get it. But I think we're all pretty content with our stretch, yeah? Keep on breathing. Pull the elbows apart, lengthen the mid-upper back. Pull the elbows apart, lift into the back of the skull, lengthen into the mid-upper back. Really finding that space there as we continue to breathe. Take 3 more breaths here. And that little bit of height's kind of nice because it allows us to get a little deeper into our low back and our hips. When those 3 breaths are complete for you, you're going to release your hands and you're going to try and come up with that nice straight back. We're going to swap legs. So the left leg's going to straighten and we're going to take the block underneath that left thigh so there's no risk of hyperextending that knee. And then we're going to draw that right leg back as close as we can, heel coming towards bolster, big toe heel in line with the inner thigh. Interlace your fingers around that right shin and find that gorgeous straight back. Shoulder heads back, ears over shoulders, pulling the belly. Left hand takes the knee, and then we use that to keep the back straight. So I'm pulling with my arm as I bring my fingers back. At no point do I lose my back. That's very important. Then I use my fingers to support the back as I twist the shoulders, ribs, and belly. Maybe I can get the elbow to hook. Remember, head doesn't go until you're at your deepest. Shoulders, rib, belly, twist at least 3 times. Shoulders, rib, belly, right thigh working forward. And when you can't twist anymore, you then turn your gaze. If you turn your gaze too quick, you rob yourself at least 25% of the twist, okay? Because the head gets jammed and then you can't move your upper back. Armpits are continuously lifting, shoulders are continuously relaxing. Find that left foot and flex it. Make sure the left heel is centered. And a flexed left foot allows you to get a little bit more of a hamstring stretch. Left toes are pointing right up towards the sky, and you're right on the center of that left heel. Push into the right foot. Use that right foot, push it down, push your sit bones down, inhale to lengthen one more time, and see if you've got a little more twist left in you. So good for digestion, so good for getting rid of the symptoms, which will cause cold and flu, or the toxins, I guess I should say, that will cause cold and flu. And then nice and slow, let's unwind back to center, interlacing our fingers over the shins. Big inhale to lift, lengthen, shoulders back. Left hand comes outside the left hip, right arm comes to the inside of the right leg. Push into the sole of the right foot, lift and lengthen. So my hip bones root and I lengthen my torso evenly out of my hip bones as I start to walk forward. And I really take my time trying to lengthen. Ideally, I'm going to keep my shoulders level with the floor, and if it's easy for me to grab the foot and I've got a nice straight back, then I can bring that right arm around. Back of the arm pushes into the shin, I flip my palms, I bend my elbows, and the opposite arm reaches around. Right hand grabs left fist. So ideally, the shoulders and back remain straight and level the whole time, but a lot of us have to do this to bind. So if we've done this, feel like you're pulling the right shoulder, right hip back to even out the shoulders and the ribs, and then you can come down with that straight back. Belly touches, ribs touch, and then eventually the chin or the nose will touch. Wherever you're at's great. Wonderful back stretch, wonderful hip stretch. Elisa, can you bring that foot in a little bit closer towards the block? Other foot towards the block. Snuggle it in. Good. Push into that standing foot, and Dave, do you mind straightening out that right foot? You see your toes pointing out? I want it pointing straight ahead. Good stuff. Staying right on the center of that left heel. Close your eyes. Keep reaching with the elbows, lifting into the back of the skull to lengthen the back. Reach with the elbows, gently lift into the back of the skull, lengthen your back. Just take it to wherever you can. Let's take 3 more breaths here. When those 3 breaths are complete for you, release your arms, come up with that nice straight back, and just straighten out that right leg. From here, we're going to come up off the bolster, make our way into Shavasana. Since you have the bolsters, let's tuck a bolster underneath our knees, ankles together, knees together, hands behind the thighs. Keep your feet on the floor and keep those knees together as you make a C in your spine, and then see if you can come down 1 disc, 1 vertebra at a time, walking your hands down your thighs, and then just straighten your legs, bring your arms out beside you, palms up, close your eyes, and find your Shavasana. If you need a blanket, put your right hand on your belly, and if you need a bolster, put your left hand on your belly. To properly release the shoulders, make sure